I'll show you. Here we are, just wandering through the woods, wandering back up to the main trail from the lake. These woods are just incredible. I dropped my mosquito net on the way over to the spring to get some water, so we had to use the GPS to retrack our steps, go back and find my mosquito net. So we decided just to come up here. Oh, and there it is. There's the main trail right there.
Where's the rock face?
That's the rock face I was talking about right there, but we couldn't see the trail in front of it. So here's me and Jay. That's the trail we came in on. If you come around here, this is the trail that leads down to all the other lakes in the other part of the basin. Unless you want to go around, I think, the eastern side of Grandaddy Lake. But we saw a group of people coming through here today. They were doing it the smart way. They had llamas carrying a whole bunch of gear. I mean, they were carrying their own packs at the same time, but they had those llamas loaded down. I can't imagine. I mean, do you just rent the llamas, or do you own one or two? They had, like, how many did they have, Jay?
I think probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4. But those, man, they had big old saddle bags on them things, and I guess they wouldn't be considered saddle bags.
They won't stare at us.
Yeah, they were nice. They waved at us because our camp is pretty obvious. We're actually over towards that mountain where the sun's coming in right now. We just filled up, coming back from a tough day of fishing, tough evening. And we're going to go back to camp, and hopefully, looks like we're going to be able to prepare us a meal without hail coming down on us tonight.
Yeah. And
be able to come down and wash the dishes without rain and hail coming down and hitting us. What do you think about that, Jay?
Way better than yesterday.
It would be a lot better than having to squeeze us underneath that little shelter that we made to cook up our dinners. I mean, that's what you get when you're out here. And we're having a good time. But this is a nice change. This is a nice change. We actually came out, looks like quite a ways up from where our camp is, just kind of bushwhacking through the forest, coming up from finding my mosquito net. We're about ready to come down here because it's starting to break it open. It'll break open, there will be a big meadow up off on our left-hand side. A couple nights ago, we had some deer come through, and we were doing a water exchange from water bladders to water bottles. Jacob was standing there. He was holding up the water bladder high enough that we could get some gravity feed down into the bottles below. And he said, "Oh, Daddy, look." And I turned my head, and there was a doe, probably 10 feet away, just staring him down. She wasn't alarmed. She wasn't surprised. We didn't see her come up, didn't hear her come up, and she was not surprised. She put her head down and started eating, stood in there in the same place, finally just kind of meandered off up into the meadow. That's how the animals are up here. They're not very skittish, not during this time of year. But we're about down here where we have to cross over a good piece of water that comes down and feeds Grandaddy Lake. Grandaddy Lake is right over here. Maybe you're able to see where it's through the trees. Grandaddy Lake is over there, and Betsy Lake is over that way, with the trail split between them. And here's the meadow that I was talking about, where the deer came down through. There's a lot of water in that meadow. Very pretty. I know there's no way the cell phone camera can do it any justice. Everybody says that, but it's the truth once you're here. It really is. And everything's just so wet and green, and it smells just like forest. I mean, big surprise, we're in the forest. It's amazing. This is, what day is this? How many days have we been up here now, Jay?
Including today, 4 days.
4 days, including today?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been up here 4 days, including today. And this is, we got beat up by some hail a little bit earlier, around lunchtime. We had a rain and hailstorm come in.
It was not as bad as the last day.
Yeah, no, it wasn't as bad as the last few days. But that's pretty much to be expected in the Uinta mountain range if anybody's ever spent any amount of time here. And right there is actually where our camp is.
And a stream.
It's actually a lot nicer up there. We kind of lucked out. It was very busy when we come up here. There's a lot of people. And we were in kind of a hard spot, so we had to take that spot. But now it's pretty dead, being weekday, middle of the week time. It's very quiet. You see very few people come through. And there are some amazing camping spots. But I think that a lot of them are maybe, you know, a little bit too close to the water or something like that. I don't know if, I hope we're okay. Tried to stay up off the trail and stay away from a main body of water. But down there you're looking at Grandaddy Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the trail. Cuts off. Takes us up here to our little camp. You want to lead the way, Jay? Why don't you take us in?
And there are deer footprints.
Yeah, and there's lots of deer track everywhere. In this big, beautiful meadow, of course, up here.
Earlier today we went fishing for a little bit. When we come back, and when it rained, when we came back, brand new deer tracks over here.
Yep, brand new ones, huh?
Yeah. We'll be able to see them.
Yeah, should we record those deer tracks? I mean, how can you go wrong with this meadow? With this type of setting? It's wonderful. The mosquitoes are absolutely relentless, but we're managing to make it through there.
Right.
And here's our deer track. They like to come through here for some reason. They come through and they come down into the meadow to water and to chow. Here's our little shelter we've been cooking under during the hailstorms. And we haven't had an opportunity to make a fire. No dry wood. Haven't really put much effort into it either. But this is us. We've had to kind of rig our tent so that the hailstones don't jump up underneath and carry mud up underneath that little rain fly and get everything inside of the tent wet. So far it's worked, but we haven't had it put to the real test with a beaten down hailstorm. But we've had to block the little 1.5 to 2 inch gaps that come up underneath the side of that to keep those hailstones out. This is a North Face 02 tent and I'm not very pleased with it. I don't know that I'll be using it a whole lot more. But this is us.
You went past the wall.
Yeah, I did. I broke the rules. I went past the wall we're not supposed to follow over. Somebody's tripping on them. But thanks for hanging out. Have a good one.